You know how every 6 months Kanye West does something and everyone freaks out and goes, "Oh my god, he's unhinged! Nowhere near as unhinged as that guy at the bus stop that smears shit on himself, but still, pretty up there for a celebrity, I guess. Someone who's been invited on Ellen. It's pretty confronting." How much more confronting is it that guy that stands at the bus stop that's like, "I'm not even wearing pants, I've just smeared a lot of shit on my legs." But there is genius behind the madness. Clearly, he's obviously read or figured out for himself Donald Trump's oddity deal, which is what his most recent furor was about, that he wore a hat. And so, the Matt O'Kine of America likes hats. "Oh, I've got to crucify him. It's what the hat represented, man!" You can just tell what everybody's negative comments are going to be on these videos while it's happening in real time. But why was everyone so freaked out about it? Was the symbol of it. But the thing is that the mechanism that he's using is what Donald Trump talks about in Oddity Deal, which, by the way, he didn't write. But still, I wrote the best book of all time. Whatever floats your boat, man. He says in it that he does shocking things, and it's obvious. Everyone knows his trick now, right? He says outrageous shit. Everyone focuses their attention on him. He gets a bunch of free publicity. In fact, during the election, Donald Trump got $6 billion worth of free advertising from media companies. If you equate how much time they focused on Donald Trump going, "He said pussy years ago," and said, "No one's glad about it, pussy was worse than that grab. I hate that word." That equated to $6 billion worth of time that everyone was focusing on Donald Trump. That's the method to the madness, right? You do outrageous things, not even that outrageous as well. Again, cannot stress this enough. An item of clothing is not insanity. But it works. So he's obviously either figured it out from experimenting by himself, or much more likely, he's looked at it working for someone else, maybe like Michael Jackson, for instance, who said the same thing. His bodyguard once, how fun is this, once said, "Why are you always wearing a sparkly glove?" And before he walked out into an entourage of paparazzi, he said to him, "Because it gives me $1 billion of free advertising every time I do it. Let's go, Bubbles." Then went outside, was like, oh, look at that, it's sparkling in the sun, bam, straight in your camera lens. And so he got all of the free attention as a result of doing something that's a little bit odd. So, for some way, he's figured that out. The most likely explanation that I have for it is that he understands the Tony Robbins principle of success leaves clues. That's all your homework is, by the way, for this week. Just write that down on a stick-it note and look at it every day. Success leaves clues. The way that I think that he's doing this is because I remember that Kanye West, when he first started out, he probably should have done it with his rapping. Am I right? Here we go. Everybody with one of those fucking Supreme shirts now being like, "He's the best rapper alive!" But he's clearly fucking not. But he is a really good producer. And why is he a really good producer? Because he, in the olden days, used to sit there, get a Dr. Dre beat, and mimic it in his own time. He basically did what Samsung does to the iPhone. Just gets it, looks at it, goes, "Okay, you'll give me 15 minutes. Okay, here you go, no iPhone now." He did the same thing with Dr. Dre's beats. Just sat there, was like, "Yeah, what that one sound like? Oh yeah, I think he's using like a B flat for that. Oh, okay, cool." And then he just replicated those beats, and as a result he was basically doing what the best beat master, is that a rap phrase? If it's not, don't judge me, love me. Well, it'd be nice. He as a result was basically learning from the best. He was doing a master rap course that probably, I don't even know if Dr. Dre does that. He probably just smokes weed, wakes up, has sex with a woman, goes, "Get out!" and then just drags in another one and goes, "I'm going to sleep for the next 6 hours. But when I wake up, my dick better be sucked dry." That's probably his whole life now, right? But in the older days, maybe he did do some beat master classes where he'd teach people how to do it, and he probably charged a lot of money for it, or he could. Just like those acting studio classes where you learn from the best. He was doing it by himself, and you can do the same thing too. This is what's really exciting about living in the modern age. It's because on YouTube, A lot of people just use it to go, oh, I'm sure paid out that guy who's clearly a cunt anyway. Which I love, by the way. Who doesn't? It's glorious. But there's other more important things that you could be utilizing, which is looking at what your heroes in life do, copying it, and then later comes the originality. I think there was something that was saying that for something to be considered original, when people go, whoa, that's new and fresh, it only has to be 10% different. That's it. That's all it has to do to avoid patent laws. That's how you can get away with things like, instead of there being a Sony TV, it being called Sanyo. I wonder where they got that name from. Am I saying that you should plagiarize? Absolutely. 100%. That is what I'm saying. Plagiarism is good. Don't let university lecturers tell you what's good and what isn't. They don't know. That's why they're still sitting there and they're like, I'm shy talking to people. I can't tell people to shut up in my own class. If you can't tell people to shut up in your own class, maybe you shouldn't be learning from them. Quit uni. School's out, losers. Good advice. 2 pieces of good advice in the same video, huh? What a treat. What a schmacko for the mind. That's what I think you should be doing. And it's the same principle that you see over and over again. The most successful people in life, like what Isaac Newton said, I was just standing on giant shoulders. Even when it comes to societal level. You know, a massive reason why developed nations are developed now, a lot of it was because when they were just in colonizations, they just regimented their economies and said, you can only grow cotton, nothing else, and you have to give it to us at a discount, or we can build whatever we wish, such as steam engines. There was a lot of that, but another massive reason of it was, back in the day, patent laws weren't so stringent. So if the Germans invented the test tube, for instance, the British would go, what a delightful invention for chemistry. And then they could make it. And then the British invented the steam engine. And then German engineers would go, yeah, it's very easy to replicate. And then they were able to replicate it. So economies were just sharing off of each other. And that's why in Europe, a huge reason why there was a technological boom, which obviously led to the economies becoming advanced. Now, because there's a bunch of patents on developing nations, they don't get that access to that information. As a result, their economies just perpetually falter and they just go, well, you know, you're good at making lettuce. How about you just focus on that? It's kind of the same. There's a big myth in the world, which is that, like, if you're a creative or if you're an innovator, you're doing something completely fresh and new. You're not. You're just standing on giant shoulders, which is what Kanye West has been doing with Trump. Clearly his idol in life. Obviously, he said he's running for president in 2020. And I, for one, think that that's a really good idea. He'd clearly be a better president than Bernie Sanders. Got my endorsement? That's what I'm saying. Just that. Write that down right now. Don't do anything else. Click off this, and then just write down on a post-it note, success leaves clues. And then later on, when you're looking at life, and people, sorry, just life in general. Yeah, a leaf, what's that doing? Let's replicate that. Whatever, the point is, you look at your heroes, and then you look at what they studied, what they do, maybe their writing habits. For instance, Benjamin Franklin was either the Inquirer or the Atlantic, I can't remember, but one of them, he used to write the articles out, so he got a feel for the writing method. That's why he was such a powerful writer. Because he was doing, again, the standing on giant shoulders. And he was a midget. That made me hilarious duo. So that's what I want you to do. Be the midget standing on the giant shoulders. Write that down. And I'll see you next week.